Hey everybody, Team Trekyards is back for just talking about stuff. It's podcast time.
Number three.
Number three. So how you doing, Samuel?
Pretty good. It's a bit earlier today. We're both starting quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's because I got busy afternoon. Sorry.
But we did some fun stuff this morning and yeah, podcast now. But yeah, so something fun came out a couple of days ago. It was about 3:30 a.m. for me, and I was up watching Arrow, and I was like, oh, I saw actually Rob Burnett from Axonar tweeted that they watched it in their office. I was like, I should watch this now. And you can see it behind Stuart. It's the brand new Force Awakens Star Wars Episode 7 trailer, the final full trailer, and the most
Yeah.
full one we get, I think it's fair to say.
So, like I've said since the beginning, since I heard JJ was working on Star Wars, I think he's going to do a fantastic job with this. When I saw this trailer, I was moved. I felt like crying a little bit. Just this mix of the music and seeing all the familiar characters. I don't know. I think that JJ is going to do a good job with Star Wars. I keep saying that because he's a fan of Star Wars. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah, I watch all your content as well, so I've heard you say that a number of times. From my point of view, absolutely. If someone genuinely is a fan of something and gets it and wants to make a good story and like feels, I'm sure he feels like he's been chosen. I mean, come on, this is one of the biggest responsibilities you could be given, really, in the film world, is to direct the next Star Wars, not prequel, not another, the next. So it's a huge honor, and he certainly has the directing chops, and we've seen from these trailers he hasn't changed a thing pretty much. He's just pushed it forward a few years, which is as you would do, as opposed to, as we all know, his Star Trek intervention, where he radically alters things to his own liking. Star Wars, he really has developed it, and I
Yes,
like the new Stormtrooper look. I think they're cool.
they are. I prefer the older one, actually. The new ones kind of look like Donald Duck to me. You've seen those pictures. I know you have, where the helmet
I
is.
think they look more evil now, like they look more killer. I
Yeah.
don't know, and
Yeah,
certainly
I'm not a huge fan of them.
I've worn Stormtrooper armor. I know how Episode 4 armor. I know how damn difficult it is to walk and breathe and think, and their armor is much more flexible. So as a cosplayer, that's going to be really nice to have the new armor. But yeah, so this new trailer, I liked it. I I was interested by the pace of it. I liked how slow it was. I
Mm.
liked that it focused on these new characters because that's, if you think about the prequels, we pre-liked them because we knew they're a family of the original trilogy people. While these theoretically also could be whatever, these are also complete newcomers and very young people, really, thinking that the original Star Wars. I don't know how old Mark Hamill was, but he certainly wasn't, 21. These guys weren't the youngest people. Well, these guys do look and feel fresh, young, and new, and so the whole vibe is different. I don't think it brought a tear to my eye. I think the last trailer where we saw Harrison Ford at the end, that was like, that was the
Hmm.
best moment for me. This one, not as much. I wanted at least two more lines of dialogue from Harrison would have done that. Although it certainly was fun to see him talk.
Yeah, and the line of dialogue he said was actually very interesting to me. It's funny how he went from it's just a bunch of simple tricks and nonsense to it's all real, the dark side, Jedi's,
Yeah,
all of it.
it's pretty
So
interesting.
I thought that was a great. His character arc is one of my favorite ones in the movies. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. Hopefully, nothing bad.
But we don't want to go into those territories because we don't want anything spoiled. We don't want anything pre. We just want to go in and enjoy a Star Wars film. And it's rare these days you can go watch a film without spoilers. I mean, that's one thing I'll give JJ absolute credit for, because he has to sign off on all these. This trailer doesn't tell you very much, and that is ideal. That is absolutely fantastic because I don't. There's a villain. I know who he is probably. I've seen the poster. There's a big ball thing. Great. I mean, I know who's in it. I know that the Stormtrooper guy's a goodie by the end probably. I mean, you know some basic stuff, but I don't know the plot, and that's awesome.
Yeah, the trailer was just a perfect mix of action, excitement, old faces, new faces, and that epic Star Wars music without giving anything away. It was beautifully done, and kudos to everyone involved in that trailer.
Yeah.
Amazing work.
Although I'm interested really because this I think it's always funny when you have another thing, another era. When they made Die Hard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're at 5, yeah, 5. Everyone said Die Hard 4 was great compared to 5 when 5 came out, but everyone said 4 was awful when compared to the other three. I think some people think this is too far away from Star Wars. Like I'm not getting a Star Wars vibe as much off this as I thought I was going to. This trailer in particular, I don't know why.
I totally disagree with that.
I don't know. I'm getting a very sleek, new. Honestly, this feels like it's a really expensive fan film. They've put the best CG and they've done like a cool thing in a good way. Like obviously now with Axanar and Renegades, we're a bit, treated to some of the good stuff. But it feels like this is, I don't know, like they've lost that George Lucas, and you can argue that the first three aren't the best Star Wars films. It had that, the guy's that's vision it was, carrying it on, which for better or worse, it still felt like Star Wars, and the world felt like Star Wars. This has a totally different vibe to it for me. It feels like a movie in the Star Wars universe. That's because I happen to see Star Wars things. If you replaced all of these elements with another random alien something, you wouldn't say, "Oh, that's Star Wars." I know you can say it for a lot of films, but if in the TNG film, if you had the same, I don't know, I think you could feel certain franchises, but if you replaced everything, Millennium Falcon and TIE Fighter with two other ships when they're flying through the debris, you wouldn't say, "Oh, that's Star Wars." Of course you wouldn't. It's just because he's creating a new feel. And that's great, but I think people will look back and say, "Oh, the prequel felt like Star Wars more, maybe."
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Well, we don't know. That's the point. We don't know yet. I'm just saying it might
know.
be, given the sort of odd vibe.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the flight scene you mentioned,
Yeah.
it's a perfect example. Back when the first Star Wars came out, those were first of all, they were based on World War II films, World War II dogfighters fighting. So it was the first time it was seen like that on screen as far as sci-fi goes.
Yeah.
Since then, everything has tried to emulate Star Wars. So yes, now seeing those new flight scenes, you could insert any ship there, and it would have just a new science fiction movie feel to it.
But I mean, I've seen a lot of the Clone Wars, Rebels. I've seen a lot of stuff that feels like Star Wars. I'm saying not specifically the first three, just the entire universe. Like I don't know, just the vibe is. It's like a half point off for me.
I like I said, I disagree. This has surprised me how much I feel that initial Star Wars coziness in my soul. I really didn't expect that, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So.
Oh yeah, man, and it's so soon, which is awesome. Man. It's one of those nice things and bad things at the same time. In films these days, a lot of the time they tweet first day of filming, so it's like, oh my god, that's 2 years away. But once you're done, though, it's like, oh, that's 2 years ago.
It's like 57 days now until.
Well, it's going to be the most successful film of this year. I mean, it can't not be.
True.
I mean, what other franchises have kept a continual presence than Star Wars, for better or for worse? They had the originals, long gap, prequels, all the cartoons, all the animated, all the games. You've got the youngest people love Star Wars because they've watched Rebels or Clone Wars. Those people who know the original, and because they've seen these trailers and think, "Oh, it feels more like Star Wars," because I've been burned last time. While they might be trepidatious of, "Oh, okay." The consensus I think on the internet is, "Oh, he'll do a better job." So I think the entire spectrum of fans are going to go see it. It's going to be a big success.
Well, let's move on to droids for just a second.
Okay.
As we all know, R2-D2 is my favorite character in Star Wars. We've only seen him. Well, we've seen him in both trailers, but it's the exact same scene.
Yes.
I'm concerned he's not going to have a lot of screen time. I think he's probably hanging out with Luke, who we haven't seen.
Yes.
But at the same time, we haven't seen C-3PO either, and I know C-3PO has a pretty substantial role in this, from what I've seen.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
So I don't know. I want to see more of R2, and I didn't realize how big BB-88 actually was, because if you see him rolling behind her in this trailer, he's pretty substantial in size. Comes up to about her waist.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
What it looks like. So
sorry, Stuart, he might be a replacement. He's the next gen.
He's the next Jar Jar, I think. I don't know if he's going to be such a good character.
Yeah, I'm looking at that clip. I'm like, it's a spinning ball.
Of awesomeness, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, for R2-D2, he was, a limited character, but yet there's so much character. This is it totally depends how they use it. Because I think this is just a Like, I mean, yes, it's great. It's mostly practical, whatever. Although some people said it's fully practical. Some people said actually they tricked you. A lot of it's CG slash clever wires and whatnot, whatever. But it looks like such a gimmick to me. Like, you wouldn't think, the Star Wars universe, perfect character would be a spinning ball droid. You wouldn't think that at any point in the design process, apart from, that would be cool, and therefore gimmick. Like, it's not. Like, cool factor is a reason to have stuff, but I don't think it I don't know. Like, the
Yeah, I
R2,
think.
R2 feels like such a practical droid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like you said, this is the character that's geared towards the kids to kind of do merchandising and things like that, and even not just kids for merchandising. I mean,
Well, you
there's
wanted
those
to buy
BB.
one, so I mean,
I know there's those
won
remote
you
control
over.
BB-88s that. But just from every other scene we've seen of him in the movie or the clips, with him rolling along the sand and just peeking around that one corner, I did not think he was as big as he is in that last trailer. So that I just assumed he was smaller. I
Bigger
don't
than a
know.
soccer ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably same use too.
Oh, he's going to be, isn't it, at some point, yeah. But no, it's great to see. I like we now got Kylo Ren, the villain, talking. That was great. Although, weird voice, and seeing the mask up close looks very odd. Although I've heard some vague rumorings about the Knights of Ren, which I didn't know anything about, but seeing them in the rain looks pretty awesome. And again, it could go anywhere, which is great.
Yeah, and we know a lot of actors that are signed on for this that we have not seen in trailers yet.
Mm.
So like we don't want to do spoilers or any speculation.
What's the runtime of this?
Of this
Yeah.
trailer?
No,
2 minutes and
no,
36 seconds.
no. The full movie. How long a movie is this? Like, is it 2 hours and 16 minutes? Okay, so it's not actually that. It's not that long. It's pretty long, but okay. Because if this is the thing of the year, you want it to be the biggest experience, and I guess how much can you pack in?
Star Wars movies tend to pack in a lot.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this will be a fast-paced film.
Especially with JJ at the helm. It's going to be very action-oriented, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's good character development.
It's a trilogy. Most films, they don't start out knowing they can have 3 films.
Yeah.
If you knew you could have 3, you could build in things. I mean, that's... Well, they have spin-offs as well. They'd probably... I mean, yeah. Anyway, I want to bring up something, though, that bugs me. So this was... When this movie was announced, it was incredible. Awesome. Beautiful. But for most of the years, this film had not been announced after the prequels. So that's a good 7, 8, 9 years. And so what there was the books, the expanded universe, the comics, the audiobooks, the games.
Yes.
And that was as far close to canon, because we never thought we were going to get episode 7. I mean, that was, in between prequel, whatever. And so I actually listened to, between like 15 and 18, I listened to around 150 audiobooks from the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of them, all the way from the prequel ones, looking at a lot of the Anakin stuff, a lot of the Clone Wars stuff, all the way until between with I don't know, lots of stuff, and then after New Order, all the Yuzhong Vong, all the Sunny Isard, all the Red Squadron, all of that stuff, all the way to the end of Yuzhong Vong War, which is like a 35-book arc.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I in my head, I knew the next 40-ish years of wars, and that was such an amazing universe.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, the stuff in the books is so much better than the stuff in the movies. I'm sorry, but the prequel trilogy, in terms of the villains and what, is so dull compared to Yuzhong Vong, compared to Timothy Zahn's Admiral Thrawn. I mean, they absolutely destroy. They're built on the legends, but like they are better, in my opinion. And then when they it's not canon, it's completely rewritten. That broke my heart, honestly.
Me too. As soon as I heard that they weren't following expanded canon, I was devastated. I mean, you don't get the twins. Or maybe you do. I don't know.
Jason and Jaina.
Twins. Yeah.
Anakin, third child. Yeah.
And the reestablishing of the Jedi Academy and all that jazz. I mean, that was an awesome progression for me. And here we go with JJ. He loves to just get in there and go, I'm going to mess this up. I mean, it's not really him necessarily. It's more of the screenwriters and stuff, but he's going to mess it up, but he's going to do it in a good, classy Star Wars kind of way. And it's going to be good no matter, even if it's bad, it's going to be watchable.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's just, like I say, I thought I knew it all, and I loved it all.
But then there could be no surprises.
But I didn't want. I you know,
I know,
the Harry
I know.
Potter books. I mean, interpretation of that. I mean, just seeing the usual Admiral Thrawn trilogy with Master Joris Cabalth, whatever his name is, the mad Jedi. It's an incredible arc, absolutely incredible. You know, all the Yuuzhan Vong arc, like I said, would be ridiculous. Red Squadron against Alsana. All of these things are so incredible because they're like, you know, 300-page books and there's like 9 of them. I mean, the development, the characters, the story, I mean, just the fact that in the books, you know, they there's a book which is like an hour after Endor, and it's like you
Yeah.
listen to an hour after, and it all makes sense, and you know, and like I said, the Jedi being brought back. So for me, that was how I wanted the universe to go, and now seeing this, because we know obviously they've aged a good 10, 15 years, and the Empire looks pretty damn strong, or New Order, whatever. The Jedi don't look like they've been rebuilt. I would have thought it'd be the first thing Luke would do is rebuild the Jedi, and it's like that's what I wanted to see, and I don't want to see this dystopian Star Wars future. I want to see the New Republic. I want to see all that stuff, you know?
Hmm. But that was one of the things that always bothered me too about the end of Return of the Jedi. Just because the Emperor and Darth Vader got destroyed on the Death Star
Yeah.
doesn't mean all the Star Destroyer
Oh
captains
yeah,
and go, oh well, we're done. Let's just quit. I
yeah.
mean,
It's like
there's still a whole Imperial force and fleet out there that
it's
would.
a galactic-wide navy,
Yeah,
and while you've lost the big space station, which wasn't finished, and once one Super Star Destroyer, that's you know nothing.
and your two figureheads, basically, the Emperor and Darth Vader. I'm sure there's other generals and whatnot that are
Well, there's
making.
the Moffs, Grand Moffs, the
Yeah,
Admirals. I mean, yeah, I mean, in the expanded universe, you know, Thrawn takes command straight away. The only alien general or admiral in the in the navy because they're racist. The whole Imperial Navy is racist. That's why you only see
oh yeah,
white
absolutely.
people, no aliens. He takes command. He's the best tactician ever. I mean, completely. He's better than all the rebels. That's pretty much his given. They only beat him through other means, sort of thing. And then the Moffs all team up and then don't team up, and there's different factions, and that you know the power's still there, but they sort of split it up. I just yeah, I don't know.
Reminds me of the Kazon, different factions,
Yeah,
different sects.
but with badly aiming people, I don't know.
Yes.
It's just sad. I know that still exists, but I really and it's like once you know domino it, none of that stuff can happen. It's like Jason Jaina. I mean, Mara Jade, amazing character. Admiral Thrawn, amazing character. Those, I mean, out of everything, those two people you should bring in without a second thought. I mean, you're wasting some of the best characters in Star Wars. You know.
Hmm.
Now I'm just bitching, aren't
A little bit, a little bit. Another one of the things that they've actually changed and say are officially canon now
I? Yeah.
is in one of the comic books. Apparently, Han Solo has a wife or had a wife.
Yes, that. Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of threw me for a loop when I heard that, and I don't know if that's going to be incorporated in any of these movies, but
Probably the prequel Han Solo one, but I don't think it's a. I think it's more of like a scam thing. Like they're officially married, but it's only part of a scam. I haven't read it or anything, but
that would make sense considering
it's.
he's such a scoundrel and
I
a
believe it's
rogue.
not a fair and love wife. It's more of a. You've got a wife? Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it was nice seeing Han and Leia embracing in the trailer.
Yeah, I really hope they are together and have kids. Like, they worked so hard to stay together. You know, saving from carbonite and all that jazz. Spoilers. You know, yeah. It's just it could go anywhere, and that's the great bit. But I hope it goes in some directions and not others.
Yeah, absolutely.
That said, the
Well,
mystery is, ooh,
it's all part of the fun, right?
until Khan shows up and it's like, no, that wrong movie.
Oh, Jesus.
My name is Kylo Ren.
Dun, dun.
I don't know who you are though. I know. Oh, okay. So one other interesting thing is that when they stopped a lot of the stuff being canon, I don't even think Clone Wars is necessarily canon anymore, but Rebels is.
Mm.
And I think the joke about Star Wars is, Order 66 kills every Jedi apart from the hundreds of Jedi that survive in all the other material because
Yeah.
you need Jedi at some point in the story. So you've got Ahsoka, although she might die, that's fine. You got obviously this new Jedi, can't remember the main guy's name, and the trainer guy. So will they play a part in the movie? Because I get the impression, totally radical, but they could almost be the. It'd be kind of cool to make those develop into this film because if it's I don't know, like they're Jedi for a reason. So unless they all die randomly in a year's time, in case, what's the point of the story? It'd be kind of cool if more Jedi were secret and that's part of the story. I don't know. What's your thoughts on
Well, it's
that?
interesting too because we all know that Leia is Force sensitive because she's
Mm-hmm.
a Skywalker. So has she become a Jedi? Has she been training her powers?
You'd think so.
You would, and I don't know. In the first trailer, you see somebody hand somebody a lightsaber, and it looks like a female hand. So maybe she's got some Force
And
abilities.
it is very cool that you have the original Skywalker lightsaber being handed down. That is a nice, story beat because then Anakin made it. He destroyed the galaxy with it, and then he stole it, and then Luke and he.
It's funny. That reminds me of a meme I saw yesterday, actually, where Ben's handing Luke the lightsaber, and it says, "Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough." And then right underneath, it's a picture of Anakin with his legs cut off, yelling, "I hate you! I hate you! Give my son my lightsaber when he's old enough."
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I would think that Luke would be trying to reestablish the Jedi Order. At least, I don't know. I have this feeling he's gone into like seclusion.
Well, think of the end of Return of the Jedi, right? They've destroyed the Empire. Everyone's celebrating. She's Force sensitive. You've now got the Force ghosts. You've now got Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker as a Force ghost, who can communicate at will, which means they can, give the knowledge to Luke. They can tell him all the secrets of the Force. Properly, develop that. He's taken out the Empire. We know that other Jedi have survived because they've survived the first original Order 66. So I'm sure there's more Jedi somewhere. Force sensitive people are still all around the galaxy. That's not a rare thing specifically, given how many thousands and millions of people or planets.
It opens up another question too. Are the Star Wars Force Unleashed games, are they considered still canon now?
No.
They should be.
I know.
First of all,
I know.
because the way they did those games were amazing.
Well, the first one better, but
Well, yeah, but
movies in their own right. That would have been a great movie. He was a great character. Secret Apprentice, the most powerful, one of the most powerful ones. I think he'd have been a great fight against Luke. A little bit unbalanced though, because Luke's like,
maybe that's who
and he's
Kylo Ren is.
well,
Secret Apprentice.
yeah, but then he already had one with Starkiller. Come on, guys.
Or maybe it is Star Killer.
It would be great,
Who knows?
but it's not. So
It would be awesome if it was. I'm speculating.
Okay.
Shut up. I can
Starkiller.
speculate if I want.
Okay, but yeah, I think if I was Luke, the first thing I'd do would be train Leia. Go find Force sensitive people, build that because the Republic certainly needs you. I mean, the Empire is still strong, and you've lost a lot of your fleet anyway at the Battle of the Second Death Star.
Bring up an interesting point, though. You said the Force ghosts are there; they can kind of communicate at will. So, if he starts out a new Jedi Academy, are they going to have like lectures? All of a sudden, like Ben and Yoda appear. Oh, this is the lightsaber training 101, guys.
Or Anakin's like, so I was the villain of the galaxy. Before that, I was a nice Jedi. So listen to me. But don't kill younglings like I did. Bad choice. It's like,
Yeah, I feel really bad about that. And you see the younglings materialize beside him. They're just going in.
We forgive you, Anakin. No, we don't kill him. We forgive. Oh, Jesus. Well, that said, I really hope Hayden
Christensen.
Yeah, I really hope he's in it. Because
You hope he's in it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't obviously have the actor who played original Darth Vader and he wasn't exactly particularly memorable, no offense, but you've now got a chance. It's close enough in terms of years to bring him back and to have Anakin speak to, because we know the remasters, the Blu-rays get swapped to Anakin. We know that's how it is. Or theoretically, it should have been Ewan McGregor, whatever. But which, again, would be great to see Force Ghost of both of them now, because I think it makes sense. At least in this direct time afterwards, you will chat to him. I mean, come on, if you've just killed if your dad's just saved you and he's dead, but you can speak to him, wouldn't you just spend days out, throwing catch, falling through the Force Ghost, and then, with your dad? I mean, come on, you'd spend years talking to him, learning who your mother was and all that.
Maybe they can only materialize for a certain amount of time and only, whatever. But I mean, when you do that, you open up a whole can of worms, because initially, the original Return of the Jedi was the older Darth Vader, right?
Yes.
Then they replaced him with Anakin, which is fine.
Yes.
But you still had Alec Guinness as
But I would argue
Ben
that,
Kenobi.
But that's because that's how he knew him. Whereas Darth Vader wouldn't want Luke to know him as the old man. That would be. I think
So
you
the
could.
Force Ghost can just pick any point upon
Well, yeah, he's a
on its
ghost. He's a
timeline.
ghost in the Force. Duh.
Mm.
No,
How can you still use the Force when you don't have a body full of midichlorians?
because Qui-Gon Jinn learned how. No, I think
Oh my god,
I think Liam Neeson needs to come back as Qui-Gon
that'd
Jinn
be
Force
awesome.
Ghost because again he's the guy that taught them all. That makes perfect sense. Samuel L. Jackson needs to come back as Force Ghost, but yell a bit more. Basically, the best people. Oh, Palpatine could come back. Damn it! Why am I a Force Ghost? Doesn't no, I don't know. But yeah, you need to bring Anakin Skywalker. Even if he's just like the corner of his eye, you see him, or he's in crowds, reminding whatever, or he can help train the new Skywalker because having that link, it's like the Disney Marvel expanding universe. Having that link
Mhm.
brings it all together. You've got because then imagine that, right? A scene Mark Hamill with Anakin. How much
Yeah,
chemistry? How much? Oh my
that's
god!
true. That's true. But I think you just made a lot of enemies because there's been rumors that Hayden Christensen is going to be in the next one,
That's why
and
I'm. That's
not
why,
a lot
yeah,
of people liked him as far as his wooden acting went.
yeah, but
So,
he was good at the. There's always those reviews. He's good at his stares
mhm,
when he's
mhm,
not talking. He's had like 6, 7 years, and he's been playing against such a strong actor. I
mhm.
think when you can up your performance, I mean, if that's the complaint you got, if he's being brought back, I'm sure he'd put something else into it. And he's not trying to be this angsty villain. He's trying to be something completely different. So I think you could play it better. I mean, I've seen him,
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
seen him in Jumper, seen him in other films. He's better. He has personality.
Yeah, I actually just watched a video on that the other day. That it's just the script and the direction that he was given for those movies was
Yeah.
awful.
Hmm.
Other movies, he does an amazing job acting it. So
Yeah, he's not a bad actor. It's completely variable on what you're given. I mean, those weren't great lines, and you're acting in screen screen. But imagine then you bring him in to the Millennium Falcon, whatever, and I think that could be a really good moment. And again, it's his dad. It's balance of the force. I
it's
mean,
it's one of those things. It could be it turn out really good or really crappy.
well, that
Depending
said,
on how it's
if
handled.
if Qui Gon Jinn had to teach Yoda and Obi-Wan how to Force Ghost while on Dagobah, how did Darth Vader learn to Force Ghost if he was evil and died before got taught? Because it's not an innate ability. Well, you know it's not. Unless they completely ignore Clone Wars, but I think they're not completely ignoring it, just mostly ignoring it.
Maybe if you're just a certain level in the Force, you can just
If you're over 9,000, yeah.
exactly over 9,000.
But then Palpatine should be back, shouldn't he?
But that's Sith training
Well, it's
now.
just Force, though. It's just you said of the Force.
Uh,
And he's
okay.
certainly stronger in the Force in terms of
Well, then
abilities.
theoretically, the Jedi should be able to bring back people from the dead because the Sith can using the dark side of the Force.
Can they,
So there's
do?
two sides of the Force. Well, that's how the tale goes.
Well, have you read the Darth Plagueis novel?
No, I haven't.
I have read the Darth Plagueis novel. Exceptional novel. Seriously, he's an incredible character, and hearing the backstory of Palpatine is really fascinating, and it's not actually it's a okay. So, shall I spoil it for you? Shall I give you some other plot points? It's a very long book, though. If you want to listen to it, it's really long.
Just do a quick summary. Yeah.
Okay, so Plagueis was meant to be one of the most powerful Sith ever, and in the book you really get a sense of that. Not from offensive power, because the Sith is really just a mentality, but power in itself can be expressed in many ways. So his power was the ability to never die. That's how he expressed it. He wasn't trying to take over the galaxy,
Mm.
but he dedicated his life. He was a scientist and a banker, but scientist, and he dedicated his life to work out how to not die. And he managed to control via the Force, physically control the midichlorians in his body to allow him to never die. So he kept improving that, and then he got to the point where he didn't have to sleep, didn't have to eat.
Mm.
He was perfect health, and obviously other Force powers, like really powerful. I can't remember how Palpatine got rid of him, but it was pretty clever. Um, but he knew there was a secret to bring people back from the dead, but even he couldn't find it. Like it was one of those things where he perfected the being able to stay alive, which is almost the equivalent.
Well, maybe that's what happens in this one. Maybe somebody like one of our heroes dies, like Chewbacca or Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker comes back and has learned how to bring people back from the dead.
Possibly, but I don't think they should go down that route.
I don't think they will. I'm just being silly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Again, they could do anything with this film, and the CGI does look amazing. By the way, gotta say, I've got a still frame of the Millennium Falcon go through hyperspace, and the CGI is really top notch in this film. And the practical sets also look top notch. I mean, they really have put the effort in, and it is worth it. But yeah, any last thoughts on the trailer and the previous trailers, and moving into November, which will then be December, which will then be Star Wars, and then we'll be like, oh my god, release the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here are my thoughts. I like the first one. These 10, 15-second ones they released a few days ago were irritating as hell.
Didn't even watch them.
The new one gives me goosebumps and makes me all happy and warm and fuzzy inside every time I see it. So I'm looking forward to the movie. And like as I've said all along, JJ should do Star Wars proud.
Yeah, closing thoughts for me. It's gonna be an experience.
Absolutely.
It transcends a film. It transcends a franchise. It's gonna be an experience, which very few of us thought we were gonna get. And I have not seen an original. I've not seen a Mark Hamill film in the cinema at all. I don't think. So that's another tick. I did see the first. Yeah, so the first. The second three in the cinema. So I've seen Star Wars films, but this will be the first Mark Hamill original, closest you can get to being in 19 whatever.
77.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to it, and I'm sure at Trekyards we'll look at some of the ships because that is what we do.
You mean Fleet Yards, aren't you?
Us here at Trekyards via Fleet Yards.
Well, all that being said about the trailer, I got to say one quick thing.
Yep.
A lot of people were excited when the Phantom Menace trailer came out, and we all know how that turned out. So this has the possibility of going south really quick. But what are your guys' thoughts on it? What do you leave it in the comments below? Did you like the trailer? Did you hate it? What don't you like about it? And how do you think the movie is going to be with JJ at the helm?
Yes. And talk about expanded universe. What do you think they could or should keep? What do you think they shouldn't keep? And yeah, any of your thoughts about the new Star Wars movie, we want to know, but don't be mean to spoil anything. Because that's annoying, probably. We don't know yet. Anyway, so this is it for another Trekyards podcast, number 3 on the Star Wars trailer and experience. And thank you very much for joining us this week. As always, guys, if you want to see more podcasts, animations, fact files, top 10, all these amazing extra stuff, go over to our Patreon. Give us $1, give us $5, give us $10, because this makes so much difference to us, that we want to keep making this more than just a show, a full channel that you can watch all fun geeky stuff with us,
because we're awesome. Captain Foley and Commander Cocking, seriously.
So yeah, help us out if you can. If you can't, just watch it, share it, promote it, tell a friend, they'll tell a friend, they'll tell a friend, they'll send it through the Force as a Force ghost to your other friend. It'll be great. It'll be great. But yeah, until next week, next Saturday, next Wednesday, anytime we release something, have a great week, and may the Force be with you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.